This conference will now be recorded.
So we'll start now. So Pega or PRPC. So this is the name of a tool, okay, and we call the tool as Pega or PRPC, anything. So you can describe it in this way. So its functional name is Pega and its technical name is PRPC. Okay. PRPC stands for Pega Rules Process Commander. So now Pega is a tool. This is actually a tool or environment. By using this particular tool, we can build web applications, or we call it as enterprise applications. So the primary intention or the focus why people will come to this particular tool is to generate or develop web applications. So ultimately, by using this tool, people will use this tool or companies will use this tool to generate web applications. This is the primary intention and focus. Or we can call this as something like this. This is an environment. This environment supports for developing web applications. So it's not only developing web applications, this is also used for capturing the requirements from the user. After capturing the requirements, designing the requirements, developing the requirements, testing the requirements, and finally deploying the application within the same environment. So all these things are supported in this particular environment, and this environment combinedly we are calling it as PRPC or simply Pega tool. This is a tool. This is not something a technology, or this is not something else. This is a simple tool which is built on Java technology. This tool is built on Java technology. So so we need to have a bit knowledge about Java also. Java knowledge in the sense we need to know about OOPS concepts. We need to know about the OOPS concepts before we learn about this particular tool. Okay? And we call this particular tool, so this is a software which is used to build another software, a software which builds another software. And who has designed this particular tool? It is Pega Systems. Pega Systems is the name of the company. They started in 1983, and Alan Truffler, he is the CEO of this company. Okay. He started this company in 1983, and he designed this particular tool. So they have given their tool name as their company name itself. Okay. So now the question is, on what basis this particular tool is designed? Okay. So I was telling you, right? So web application, the primary intention of this particular tool is to create web applications or generate web applications. What is a web application? Or simply, what is an application? An application is something like this. The definition of application is a piece of program or collection of programs which perform certain tasks to the user. An application is something which performs certain tasks to the user. Say for example, you have an application which adds two numbers. If I give you two numbers, it will give me the output as addition of those two numbers. This is considered as an addition application. Okay. Now, any examples of applications? You have n number of applications, like you have WhatsApp application. Okay. You have YouTube application, Google.com, Amazon.com, VLC media player. Okay. Go to meeting request. This is also one of the applications. So ultimately, all these applications in the background, they are executing some code and they are performing some certain task to the user. Okay. They are performing certain tasks to the user. So this is considered as an application, right? So now examples of applications, let's take WhatsApp. WhatsApp is an application. Why people will use WhatsApp? Because they wanted to communicate with their friends and family members. They wanted to communicate. So either it is via chat message, or it via calls, or either it is via video calls or conference calls. Ultimately, the purpose of WhatsApp is to communicate with others, right? It is serving certain purpose or task to the user. So this is considered an application. And now in applications, we have n number of applications: a mobile application, desktop application, and web applications. What kind of application is WhatsApp? It is a mobile application, because if you wanted to use WhatsApp application, first you have to install your WhatsApp application on your mobile device. Okay, you have to install it on your mobile device, and you are using that particular piece of application on mobile device. So for that reason, it is called as a mobile application. Similarly, we have desktop applications also, like media players. You have seen a number of media players, right? Antiviruses, media players, all this comes under desktop category, because if you wanted to use these kind of applications, first you have to install those applications on your desktop, then you have to use those applications, right? So these are considered as desktop applications. Now coming to web application. What is a web application? An application installed on mobile device is called as a mobile application. An application which is installed on a desktop is called as a desktop application. If the same application is installed on a server, if the same application is installed on a server, what is a server? A server is nothing but a supercomputer which is placed somewhere else in the, it is geographically, it is not located on your desktop or mobile device, it is located somewhere, a remote place, somewhere it is located, and you are trying to access that particular server, and you are trying to access that particular application using some client or some browser. Say for example, if you take google.com is a web application. Where is google.com? It is installed somewhere in the server called as www server. For that reason, what you do is, if you wanted to access google.com, what will you do? You will open the browser. By using browser, you will try to connect it to the google.com. In the address bar, you will type www.google.com. In the sense, you are telling to the browser saying that go to www server. In that particular server, you have an application called as google.com. Go and get that particular application. So this is what you are saying. So with what medium you are doing this? You are doing with a medium called as a browser. What's a browser? A browser is nothing but a medium between a user and the server. It is an intermediate between the user and the server. So this particular medium or the browser is used for the purpose of getting the data from the server. If you wanted to access google.com, you have to click the address bar and you have to type google.com. If you wanted to access amazon.com, you have to go to address bar and you have to click on amazon.com. So whatever the application that you wanted to access, you have to open the browser first, and you have to enter the address, and you have to get the data from the server. So these kind of applications which are installed on the server are called as web applications. Okay, now why we are learning this? Because by using PRPC, we are actually building web applications. We are actually designing web applications. Okay, so hope you are aware of what is web application, right? You understand it, right? Okay, let's proceed. So the intention is to create web applications. Now the question is, we have a number of technologies in the market, right? We have C, C++, Java, .NET. You have a number of technologies. If you keep on the list, right, it counts like anything. So by using those technologies, and you have other tools also, not only technologies, you have other n number of tools similar to Pega. And by using those tools and technologies also, we can create web applications. By using other technologies and by using other tools, we can create web applications. Now, why should I use only Pega tool in order to develop web applications? What is so special about Pega tool, or how it is different from other tools? What kind of advantages that I will get if I use Pega tool? So all these things we'll try to understand. Okay, so now the question is, why Pega, or simply why should I use Pega in order to build web applications? Okay, so now I was telling you, right, I was telling you this particular tool is developed by a company called as Pega Systems. Okay, so a person called as Alan Treffler, he is the CEO and the founder of this company. So he wanted to build a tool which builds an application, or simply he wanted to build a software which develops or which builds an. See, your Pega tool is a software. This software builds another software. It was his primary intention and motto. So he wanted to build web applications. By using his tool, somehow he wanted to build web applications. Now he went to the market. He actually studied the market. So what kind of problems or what kind of drawbacks that we have in the current web application process? So he studied the market and he got few drawbacks. So the first drawback is the time which is being taken in order to develop an application, web application especially. Say for example, today, if I give you the requirements, it is taking long duration of time. It is taking 1 or 2 years of time to get actual product. Okay, so it is a huge amount of time. As time increases, the cost also increases, the effort also increases. So everything is linked to the time, right? So he wanted to reduce the time effort. He wanted to reduce the time that is being taken in order to develop a web application. His first intention is to reduce the time which is being taken in order to develop an application. So this is the first point. The second point is about the maintenance cost. See, once you build an application, rest everything is maintenance. You have to maintain that application as per the customer needs. What is the maintenance? Maintenance can be of three types. It can be a bug fix. It can be a change in the existing requirements. It can be a new requirements which are going to add to the existing requirements. See, maintenance can be of three types. One is simply it can be a bug fix. It can be an update in the existing requirements or a change in the existing requirements. And the third one is new requirements from the customer. So all these things comes as a part of maintenance. If you wanted to accommodate these three things, what you have to do, you have to update your application logic, right? You have to update your application such that it comes as a part of the customer. If it's a bug fix, you have to update the bug. So you have to update some rules so that the bug is fixed. If it is an update in the existing requirement, you have to update some code so that the requirement is modified. If it's a new requirement, still you have to update the code and you have to accommodate those new requirements. Ultimately, you are modifying the application. So the maintenance cost, if you do not build an application robust enough, if you do not develop an application in a simple manner, assuming that it will change in the future, then it will take a maintenance effort. So currently, and in those times, the effort which is put on maintenance is huge. Effort in the sense it's a manual effort, it's a cost effort, it's a resource effort, whatever it is. Ultimately, it is taking huge amount of effort in order to maintain the application. So based on these two things, so he got these two drawbacks, and he wanted to overcome those drawbacks by introducing a new tool. That tool he named it as Pega, and he wanted to overcome the time and the maintenance part of your building an application. So he launched two concepts in this tool. He launched, or the Pega is designed on two basic principles. One is no code or low code. This is first one, and the second one is build for change. Based on these two principles, this entire Pega was designed. Entire Pega was designed. Now we'll try to understand what is no code or low code. What is no code or low code? Say for example, if I wanted to build an application, what happens is, first of all, you have to get the requirements. According to the requirements, you have to design the requirements. Once design is completed, you have to code the requirement. You have to write huge lines of code in order to accommodate that particular requirement, right? So this is the general practice how you develop your application. Now here the intention is you should not write any single piece of code. You got this? No code or low code is something like this. You should not write any single piece of code if you wanted to develop your application. Then how will you develop your application without writing any single piece of code? So the thing here is you have to tell your requirements to the tool. Say for example, I have requirement A. I wanted to accommodate this requirement A in my application. You have to tell your requirements to the tool so that the tool will generate the code. In the background, this tool will generate the code. You should not write any single piece of code. You have to tell the requirements. So somehow this tool will generate the code. This is what? No code or low code. Now you might be having a question. How will I tell my requirements to the tool? How should I tell my requirements to the tool is the question. First of all, if I tell the requirements, then it will generate the code. So now they have introduced form-based development process. So you have to tell your requirements to the tool in the form of a form. What is a form? A form is nothing but it has a certain fields. It is a UI representation. In the UI, you have certain fields and you have to fill those fields and you have to save it. Once you save this form, then it will generate the code in the background. Example, let's take I wanted to build a new database for my application. I wanted to create a database. In the database, I need to have 5 tables. This is my requirement. Now what will you do? You will open a form called as database form. You will enter the name of the database, the number of tables that you wanted to create in that particular database. You have to tell. So it will ask you certain questions. It will have certain fields. You have to give those fields and you have to save it. Once you do a save, what happens is in the background, the tool will generate the code. Ultimately, that code is executed and it will build database in the background. It will build the database and it will build 5 tables in that particular database. So this is how your entire development process would be something like this. You have, if you wanted to create a property, or if you wanted to design a web page, or if you wanted to design some sub buttons, if you wanted to design your UI, or if you wanted to implement some logics in your application, whatever it is, you have to open certain forms in your tool. If you wanted to create a property, you have to open form. If you wanted to create a table, you have to open table form. If you wanted to create some logic, A equal to B plus C, something logic, you have to open some logic form. Ultimately, you have to configure those form and save the form. Once the form is saved, what happens is in the background, it generates the Java code. So what kind of code it is generating in the background? It is generating Java code. It generates the Java code. Ultimately, this Java code is executed, and this Java code is executed, and finally, whatever the things that you wanted to perform, it will perform. Okay, this is what no code or low code. By introducing this no code or low code, I'm saying that the time effort which is being taken to develop an application has come down. How? See, by using no code or low code concepts, I'm telling you that the time which is being taken to develop an application will come down. Why? Because see here, no code or low code in the sense your application, see, your application process is automated. Your application process is automated. You are not writing any single piece of code. It is just that you are opening certain forms and you are saving those forms. So with this, your entire development process is automated and the time has come down drastically. Market. So people say that, the experts say that it is 6 times faster than normal traditional programming languages. Say for example, if you wanted to build an application in Java, assume that it will take 6 months of time. In Java, it will take 6 months of time. The same application, if you design or develop in Pega, it will take 1 month of time because it is considered 6 times faster delivery to the users. What happens if time has been reduced? Obviously, the cost which is incurred for developing an application also will come down, right? The time, what I'm saying is the time is reduced. If the time is reduced, what happens? The cost also comes down. So by introducing no code or low code concept, we are reducing the time. Now, what are the other advantages that we get by using no code or low code? By using no code or low code, you need not to have any prior programming knowledge or prior programming skills. Say, for example, if you wanted to design a application that you are developing in .NET, or you are developing in Java, or you are developing in C or C++. Now here, you need not to have any programming skills or programming languages. It is just that you need to know about the tool and those forms. So with this, we are eliminating the coding process and coding skills. It is just that you need to know about this tool. If you know about this tool, you can build the application. So in reality, 95% of the times you will not write any single piece of code. You will not write any single piece of code 95% of the times. There are a few places where you have to write Java code. Few instances, very few instances. So I'll tell you how to write that code and how to overcome those situations and scenarios when that particular topic comes in our course. Okay, so ultimately no code or no code in the sense you should not write any single piece of code. Your tool has to generate the code. Now who is generating this code in the background? The tool is generating the code in the background. Who is responsible to generate this code? There is something called as engine, process engine. Some engine is there in the tool. This engine will generate the code. Okay, so that engine is called as process commander. Your process commander is responsible to generate the Java code in the background. Okay, so now next, coming to build for change. Any questions so far before I proceed for build for change? Any questions? Okay, hope we are good. So we'll proceed. So next one is build for change. What is build for change? If you see Pega Systems, the company name, so under Pega Systems you will find a caption called as build for change. They have used build for change as their caption to their company name. What is build for change? And you might be asking a question, why we should build if it is changing forever? Okay, let's try to understand with a simple example. Okay, now let's take WhatsApp, the same application. So when WhatsApp was introduced some couple of years back, okay, so it started with a simple chat message, a simple chat, a user interface where you can chat with your friends and family members. It started with that. So after that, they have upgraded to voice calls. It's not only chat message, you can also make voice calls. After voice calls, they have upgraded to video calls. After video calls, I think now it is conference. So every day by day, so what they are doing is they are coming with the new requirements. They are upgrading their application, right? So they are changing their application, the functionality of their application. They are changing every instance or every point of time, right? It is not only true with WhatsApp application, it is true with every other application. If you take any application in the market, it has changes, because you cannot stop the requirements from the business or from the customers, right? You cannot stop those things. If you wanted to survive in the market, you have to accommodate all the requirements which are coming from either from the business or either from the customers. You have to accommodate those changes. So changes are common in the application. So now the thing is, you cannot stop the changes. What you can do is you have to build your application in such a way that it will accept the changes. You have to build your applications, or you have to design your application in such a way that this application will change in the future. This application today, what I am building, right? So assuming that it will change in the future, so keeping that in the mind, I am designing this particular application today. So Pega gives you that kind of support or environment, saying that it will change in the future. This is what build for change in the sense. Now how I'm saying that the applications which I built on PRPC are built for change applications. On what basis, on what context you are saying this particular statement? So we'll try to understand this with a simple example. Let's take that, let's assume that this is my application. This application is built on PRPC. This is PRPC application. Now this application, I was telling you, right, if you wanted to build this application, you have to open certain forms and you have to save those forms, right? This is what we have decided. This is what we have learned from no code or low code concept. Now your application is nothing but it is collection of forms, or simply functionally we are calling this as a form, but technically we call the same form as a rule. we call the same form as a rule in PRPC's context. As this is very specific to PRPC, we are calling this rule as Pega rule. Your application is nothing but it is collection of Pega rules. A rule can be a property rule, a rule can be a UI rule, a rule can be a database rule, a rule can be an integration rule, a rule can be a reporting rule, a rule can be a security rule. Ultimately, this is a rule. Okay. Now your application is nothing but it is collection of Pega rules. It is collection of rules. Your application, see, all these are rules. Assume that these boxes are rules. Now all these rules are independent of itself. All these rules are independent of itself. There is no common things between two rules. There is no overlapping between the rules. One rule is completely independent from the other rule. This is very, very, very important in PRPC. One rule will not interact with, or see, one rule will not overlap with other rules. Of course, they'll have interaction between these rules, but there is no common functionality between these two rules. Now assume that there is a change. What is the change? Assume that the change is specific to the database or some specific to some integration. So now your task as a Pega developer, your task is to identify the rule first. You have to identify that particular rule which is impacting. You have to open that rule and you have to update that rule according to the change. According to the change, you have to open that particular rule, you have to update that rule, and you have to save the rule. Once this is saved, what happens? The code is regenerated in the background. As this is not impacting on other rules, so it is considered as there is no regression impact on other functionality. Say for example, in your application there are 10 functionalities, functionality 1 to functionality 10, and assume that you have updated, you have changed a functionality in functionality 2. Now this change in the functionality will not have impact on other functionality. The regression impact is 0, because if you go deeper level, it is nothing but rules, right? These rules are independent of itself. And with this, we are changing that these are built for changes applications. If you wanted to change, you have to identify that rule and you have to change it. That's it. So based on this concept, we are saying that the applications which you built on Pega are built for change applications. So based on these two concepts, what happens now? Build for change. The maintenance part. What is maintenance part? I was telling you earlier. It is a bug fix, or it can be change in the existing requirements, or it can be simply a new requirement altogether. So whatever the change, you have to open the rules and you have to update those rules, or you have to create new rules. Okay. So now what happens to the maintenance? Maintenance effort also has come down. So based on these two concepts, they went ahead and they have designed the tool. And the current version of this particular tool is Pega 8.2. Pega 8.2 is the latest version of PRPC, but your certification is on PRPC 7.4. Okay. So now by introducing these two things, it is huge different from other technologies. By introducing no code or low code concept or build for change, you don't see it in other technologies, other tools. You don't have this kind of flexibility in other tools. For that reason, this product is on demand in the market, and many companies are adapting to this tool based on its no code or low code concepts and build for change concept. So there are n number of other features which are there in this particular tool. It has rich APIs. It has very rich APIs. APIs in the sense there are many inbuilt functionalities which are already there in the system. Say for example, if you wanted to generate a transaction, an ID for your transaction, that logic is already written and placed. If you wanted to send an email capability, that logic is also there and used. If you wanted to create operators or users, that logic is also there. Everything is there in the product. The only thing is you have to architect those APIs. So we generally don't call Pega designers or Pega developers. We call them as Pega architects. Here you are not developing anything. What you are doing is everything is already there in the system, and now you are trying to connect those pieces. How well you connect, so that depends the quality of your application. If you connect it well, if you architect your rules, or if you architect all your APIs, okay, in a very well manner, then the quality of your application depends on how well you architect your Pega rules. Okay, so for that reason, we are calling you as, but ultimately this word has been corrupted in the market. So still people will call you Pega developer only. They will not call you Pega architect. Okay. Let's go ahead. Now, no code and low code concepts. These two things, it is making Pega tool a huge difference from other competitors and other technologies also. Any questions so far? Who is this waiting for name 100004? May I know who is this? Hello.
Yeah, hi, yeah, this is Srikar. Actually, I went outside, so I don't know, like I just came and it was already running, so I could not join today, Karthik.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. No problem. This is a demo session which is going on. So if you are interested, you can stay. Okay. Okay. So now based on these two things, we have actually built this particular tool, right? So now next, I was telling you, we'll create web applications by using this particular tool. We'll create web applications by using this tool. Now, what kind of web applications I will build this by using this tool? Say, for example, I have got a requirement saying that I wanted to build a social networking site similar to Facebook.com. You know Facebook, right? Okay. So if you wanted to design an application which is similar to Facebook, I wanted to build by using Pega. Is it possible? First of all, no, it is not possible. You cannot build social networking sites by using Pega. Now another person came, I wanted to build a search engine, kind of Google.com, Google, Bing, Yahoo, right? Assume that you wanted to build such kind of applications by using PRPC. Can you build it? No, you cannot build that. No, you cannot build that. Now the question is, what kind of applications that I can build using PRPC? Say, for example, I wanted to build an insurance application. Can you build using a PRPC tool? Yes, you can build. I wanted to build some banking related applications. Can I build using PRPC? Yes, you can build. I wanted to build some kind of timesheets kind of thing. Can you build? Yes, you can build. I wanted to build a financial related applications. Can you build using this Pega tool? Yes, you can build. Now, what is that which is making different? Based on what? Based on what context information that you are saying that you can build one application and you cannot build another application? What is that behind the screens which is supporting only these kind of applications that you can build using Pega tool, and these kind of applications you cannot build using this tool? That we'll try to understand it now. Okay, so now let's try to understand with a pictorial representation. Okay, so in the market, if you take in the market, there are millions of web applications. There are millions and millions, billions of applications in the market. So out of those millions and millions of applications, I will segregate them based on the functionality that they are used for. So what kind of functionality that they are serving in the market. So based on that, we'll try to categorize them so that we'll try to understand it better. So assume that this is the box where you have all the applications in the market. Okay. So assume that this is web application space. This is web application space. Now in this market, you name any web application, that assume that this comes under this particular box. Now I'll try to segregate based on the functionality. So let's try to figure out few applications. Now I'll take one of the category as a search engine category. Search engine space. So what kind of applications are there in search engine space? Can you name a few applications? It is google.com. Next one is bing.com, baidu.com, Yahoo search. So all these are applications which are used for the purpose of searching some keywords. Why people will go to search engines? Why people will go to search engine? Because they wanted to get some information based on what questions that they have. Say for example, I wanted to search some nearby restaurants. I'll go to search engine, I'll search nearby restaurants. I wanted to get some location, I'll go to Google and I'll search. I wanted to know about some plantation or some agriculture related things. I'll go to Google and I'll search it. So why people will come to search engine is because they wanted to search some information based on the keywords that they have. They have some keywords, they wanted to search based on those keywords. For that purpose, they will come to this Google or whatever the search engines, and they will enter those keywords and they'll get the information. Right? So now google.com, bing.com, baidu.com, these are the companies. These are companies which are there in this particular search engine space, and they're trying to serve some service to the user. They're actually doing some service, some kind of service to the user, right? So by providing those service, they're also getting some revenue. So take google.com, it is considered as it is around 40 or 50 billion revenue is generated from the search engine. 30 to 40 billion dollars revenue it is generating from this particular search engine. So your search engine space is a business area. It is a business area. Okay. Similarly, say for example, you wanted to start a business, and that business is on real estate business. Assume that. So real estate is a business area where you are doing some business and generating some revenue. Right? So similar to real estate, search engine space is also some kind of business area in the web application space. In this entire space, in the markets that we have huge number of markets, right? So out of them, search engine is also one of the business area. In the business area, google.com is, or the Google company is leading. It is generating huge amount of revenue. It is almost generating 80 to 90% of the revenues in this particular search engine space. Okay, so now let's take another category. So what is, so it is e-commerce category. It is e-commerce. What is e-commerce? Why people will go to e-commerce? If people or users wanted to do some online shopping, e-commerce is nothing but it's an online shopping, electronic commerce. So what are the applications which are supported in e-commerce? If you take Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, if you say the list goes on, you have n number of e-commerce websites in the market, and out of that, the top one is Amazon.com. Next one is Flipkart. In India, it is next is Flipkart. Let's take these two as an examples. So in e-commerce space, Amazon and Flipkart are leading in the market. They are generating some revenue. I'm calling this e-commerce as a business area. In e-commerce space, so Amazon and Flipkart are generating the highest revenue in this particular space. Okay, so if you take another business area, some kind of banking business area. So in that you have n number of banks. In India, the top one is SBI, something like that. In US something JP Morgan Chase or something, some banks. So, okay, ultimately these banks are generating revenues in those areas. Let's take social networking sites, facebook.com, googleplus.com, LinkedIn. All these are social networking sites where you connect with your family or friends, right? So this is also one of the business areas. See, your google.com, Bing, Baidu, Yahoo comes under search engine space. So Amazon, Flipkart comes under e-commerce space. Facebook, Google Plus, all those comes under social networking space. Okay, your SBI, all banks comes under banking space. And similarly, there is a space in web application space that is called as BPM space. What is that? There is one of the spaces called as BPM. What is BPM? BPM is nothing but business process management. The abbreviation of BPM is business process management. This is one of the business areas in the market. This is one of the business areas in the market. And if you develop applications in Pega, all right, so those applications will fall under BPM space. Here we get Pega applications. So all the, if you wanted to build an application which comes under business space, then you can use Pega tool. Okay. So by using this Pega tool, we are building BPM applications. So for that reason, Pega is called BPM tool. There is another business area called a CRM, customer relationship management. Okay, so there is another space called a CRM. Now Pega, from BPM, it has captured almost the entire market and it is leading in BPM space. Now it is expanding its business area to CRM space also. CRM is another space. Okay, so next. So for that reason, Pega is called, so far it is called as a BPM tool. By using Pega, we can build applications which fall under BPM category. Okay. So now, what is BPM? So the abbreviation of BPM is business process management. Business process management is the abbreviation of BPM. Now what is this? We'll try to understand what it is. First of all, what is BPM? Okay, see here, let's try to understand with another example. Say for example, there are two companies called as company A and company B. Company A wanted to build a search engine and company B wanted to build an e-commerce website. Company A wanted to build an application similar to google.com and company B wanted to build another application which is very similar to amazon.com. Now if they wanted to build that application, they have to follow some process, right? They should have some plan, right? Basically, if I wanted to build a search engine, what kind of technologies that I have to use, how many people are involved, what is the time which is being taken, what is my budget, who are my target customers, okay, who are my competitors, can I generate revenue, okay, who are my investors, all those things comes as a part of your planning process, right? Now assume that company A have designed some plan A. Now company B, they wanted to design Amazon kind of things. Okay, so here also what kind of technology is, how many people are involved, who are my customers, it is way different from google.com. You cannot use the same plan for building an Amazon. See, the plan which is used to build a google.com, you cannot use the same plan for building amazon.com, right? So those two are two separate different things and they are two different business areas. Not use the same plan, right? Similarly, if you wanted to build a BPM application, also you need to have some plan. You need to have that plan. That plan we are calling it as BPM. What is the plan? It says so and so points. These are the points that you have to follow. Or simply I can say the same thing I'm converting into a different thing and I'm telling you the terminology. It is called as a methodology. for better understanding purpose, I'm calling this plan as a methodology. So now what is BPM? BPM is a methodology. It is a method. What is a methodology? What does methodology will have? It will have certain rules and regulations. If you follow those rules and regulations, some protocols, then your application is considered as a BPM application. If you build an application following the rules and regulations of BPM methodology, then your application is considered as a BPM application. So BPM is a methodology. It is a methodology. So now what does this methodology will have? This will have certain rules and regulations. If you follow those rules, so as we are running out of time, we'll take in the next session. So currently I'm parking the session. So we'll understand this BPM in another session. So before that, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Hello, any questions? Before I discuss in general questions. So, okay, I'll discuss my questions. I have few questions. Who can learn this particular tool? So people will be asking me. So is there any prerequisites if I wanted to learn this particular tool? Do I need to have any programming skills or prior coding skills or something like that? So the straight away answer for this is no. You need not to have any prior programming language or prior coding skills, because see, the intention of this particular tool is to generate web applications without writing any single piece of code. So if you don't have any coding knowledge or coding skills, then this is the perfect tool where you can learn this. This is one of the best tools where if you wanted to enter the market without having coding or programming skills. Okay, so next, certifications. So what kind of certifications are supported in this particular tool? So there are 3 levels of certifications. One is CSA, CSSA, and CLSA. So these are 3 levels of certification for Pega architects or simply Pega developers. Okay. The first one is a basic certification, next one is an intermediate level, and next one is advanced level. So if you consider that you are a Pega professional, then minimum you have to do CSA certification. Companies are expecting you to at least have CSA certification. Okay, and if you cross 4 years, 3 plus or 4 plus, even they are expecting, companies are expecting. If you cross 3 to 4 years of experience, companies are expecting CSSA also. Okay? CLSA is something which is optional. Okay? Next, job opportunities or the demand for this particular tool. So let's understand the demand of this tool. Okay, so I was telling you, right? So based on its no code and based on the features that this particular product has, so the adaptability of this tool is increasing day by day. So recently, if you take in the market, Apple company has recently acquired this tool for their internal building application purpose. Amazon is using this tool for building their own internal applications. Okay, if you take top banks, financial institutions, insurance related companies, so all these top banks or insurance or financial related things, they are using this particular tool because the features that it has, the kind of features that it has, it is the adaptability of this particular tool is going day by day. And coming to job opportunities, you have good number of job opportunities in the market. Okay, so it was considered as there are no skilled Pega professionals in the market. Still there is a scarcity. I repeat this, there is a scarcity for skilled Pega professionals in the market. So for that reason, they are paying huge I've seen few people with 5 years or 6 years of experience drawing around 20 lakhs package. 2 to 3 years of experience people having 2 to 12 lakhs package. And I've seen few people who has 4 or 5 years of experience having 6 lakhs of package. Okay, so that depends on the market, and that depends on the kind of skill set that you have, and that also depends on the company that you are choosing. And coming to the locations in India, in Hyderabad, in Chennai, okay, in Bangalore, in Kolkata, Pune. So in this all these cities, you have openings. If you take across the countries, you have openings in US, UK, okay, Australia, Canada, Singapore, Malaysia. So in all these countries, Pega, you have good number of Pega openings.
Hi Karthik, sorry to interrupt. So how many minimum experience they would be asking for Pega? Is it like what is the minimum experience?
There is nothing called as minimum experience. Nowadays we have openings for freshers also. For
Okay.
freshers also, there are some companies are recruiting. And if you have any other gap, right? So you can fill that gap and you can look for it. It doesn't matter how many years, 2 years or
Okay.
3 years or 5 years. Okay.
So and sorry if I this Pega, is it a CRM application? Is that right?
Pega is a BPM application. It's not a CRM is a flavor on top of Pega.
Okay.
CRM is an application. It can be considered as a framework. Do you know what is a framework?
Yeah. So it is more like
Okay.
yeah.
So they'll give you infrastructure. See, there is a CRM application on top of Pega. So on this tool, they've built some CRM resources. If you wanted to build a CRM kind of application, what you have to do is you have to take this CRM application and you have to build your own requirements on top of CRM. So this is a kind of flavor that is given from the product itself.
Okay, but mostly it is used for BPM, business process management applications. Is that what it is? Mostly the implementations of Pega are all?
So it started with BPM business area. That's what I'm telling you. BPM is a business area. So in this BPM business area, so it is considered as a 30 billion market. It is considered as a 30 billion market. In this space, it is actually ruling. There is no real competitors in this particular space. So now it has almost ruled the entire space. Now it is expanding its business to CRM business area also. See, if you take Google as example, first Google started with search engine, right? So it has captured the search engine space. Now it moved into some mobiles. It is also having some mobile business area also. So your search engine and mobile business are two different business, but it is headed by only a single company. Consider the same things BPM and CRM also. So BPM is one market area and CRM is another market area. So by using this tool, it is trying to capture CRM market also. CRM, so Salesforce is leading. In CRM space, Salesforce is number one.
Correct. Yeah.
So
Because at present I work in Salesforce, so that's where I was trying to switch to Pega for a CRM. Since I have a CRM background, I thought maybe I can get involved on Pega implementations or learn Pega. So okay. So does one last question is so the Pega CRM, right? Both it have a sales and service solution.
Yes, it has.
Okay.
It has.
Okay, thank you.
So now coming to the course. What this course will cover. So this course is about 35 to 40 sessions. One session is equal to 1 hour. Okay, and every day it is 1 hour. So it is from Monday to Friday. In a week we'll cover 5 sessions. So it takes around hardly it is from 1.5 months to 2 months. The entire course. So I would complete within 1.5 months to 2 months, max 2 months. Okay. Now, so what I'm going to cover. So there are actually, if you take the course, entire course, so it is divided into 3 parts. So the first part is learning about the Pega tool, in the sense how to build an application, how to see. I was telling you it's a form-based development process, right? So in the first half, we'll be learning about all the rule forms, all the supported rule forms. Next one is, I was telling you the APIs. It has huge number of APIs. In a sense, it has huge number of inbuilt functionalities. Those functionalities we will also learn, the second part. And the third part is the architecture of this particular tool, how this tool is designed. That also will learn. So this 35 to 40 sessions will cover all these things. Next, are we covering any project? Yes, we are covering a project called as insurance project. So the way it is something like this. First, I'll tell you the concept. I'll give you examples. I'll tell you some scenarios. After telling the scenarios, I will implement it in the project. At the same time, you should also implement it from your side also. This is something which is expected. Okay. Should also work parallelly with me, in the sense not on the session. So once the session is done, so you have to work on the project also. You have to, if I tell you some topics called as activity topic, so you should also parallelly working on activity topic, and you should also implement. I'll give you some some scenarios, some homework also. I'll tell you a concept, I'll tell you how it is implemented in the project. I'll give you some examples. You should also practice those examples. Right? And what else? That's it from my side. Do you have any other specific questions? So it is exactly 1 hour. Yeah. If you don't have any questions, we'll wind up for today.
Yeah, thank you, Karthik. So sorry. So since I'm from a Salesforce background, will Pega be a good fit for me?
Yes, there's always.
Okay.
How many years of experience you have in CRM?
Close to 8 years.
8 years. So how will you manage them? So if you are, say, I think you can go. That depends on the hands-on experience that you have on this particular product. Okay. So if you have 8 years, I think you have a good demand in the market. So keep 4 or 5 years telling that I have so and so experience. So if you have hands-on, then you can go into this market. You can come into this market.
Okay, thank you, Karthik. Thanks for the session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.